And that's how you know it worked. Recording in process.
Yeah, Zoom yells at you and you know.
Yeah, there we go. It just works out. So, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Another week, another podcast.
Right? Another
Recorded
week
this.
down.
We're recording this the day before, so got our weekend for now.
Did you do anything fun this weekend?
Not really. I went down to the pier yesterday and just kind of been hanging out today. Nothing too fancy. How about you?
Well, yesterday we had my cousin's graduation party
Very fun.
from high school. Had to drive some drunk high schoolers home.
Well, that's just the best time.
And one of them, because I had to drive her car and she drives a Jeep Wrangler, and she looks at me, she's like, "Are you sure you're comfortable driving a Jeep Wrangler?" I was like, "I'm sorry, does it have four wheels?"
Right? No, it has 8.
Wait, I've never driven a car before. Oh
Is
my
this
God.
so different?
What is so different about a Wrangler?
Apparently a lot.
I was like, okay, so my sister had a Hummer, and that's a little different because like the windows are smaller, like,
Yeah.
and it's also more like a tank, right?
Yeah. Right.
I was like, there's nothing different about a Wrangler. Why are you asking me, you little 18-year-old, if I can drive a
Right.
Wrangler?
Of course.
And then they were screaming disgusting rap songs, but then they started screaming Taylor Swift, and I was like,
T-Swizzle.
okay,
Gotta
I'm just
love
gonna
it.
sit here.
Right?
In that moment, I felt very old.
Yeah. Oof. Getting older, man. Both of us. It's no fun. It's just not a good time.
Oh, I
I
don't
don't.
like it.
I don't like it either. I'm not having a good time.
Then, yeah, that was it. And then just chilled with my dad today since it's Father's Day.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Rockin'. Yeah. Well, it's getting a little later where you are, so shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
So we got some true crime stories. I know we did a similar version of this before, but we found some new cases. I got some that I really haven't heard about before, which should hopefully be good.
You said you had heard about them before?
No, I just searched ones that not really many people have heard about. So
yeah, that's kind of what I did, because I mean, I think we did crimes that we had like heard about before last time.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought it'd be interesting to like do ones that, aren't like
Super popular.
yeah, basically.
Well, good stuff.
It is good stuff.
Right. I guess I can get started. The first one I have is about Mary Bell. Do you have that one or no?
I do not.
Cool. Well, so this one says in Britain in 1968, 11-year-old Mary Bell strangled 2 young boys, oh boy, in the span of 2 months.
Ooh.
Bell came back from a broken home with a She came from a broken home with a teenage sex worker for a mother and an active criminal for a father. When she and her accomplice
Starting off good.
Right. When she and her accomplice, Norma Bell, of no relation, were arrested by police not long after the second murder, Mary reported, "That's all right by me." All right.
Oh, geez.
During the trial, Norma appeared distraught. Mary, on the other hand, was said to have been defiant, showing zero remorse. And the court described her as intelligent, manipulative, and dangerous. Cool. Norma was found not guilty, while Mary was found guilty of manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility. She served 12 years, briefly escaping prison at one point, and was granted a new name upon her release. She gave birth to a daughter, and it was reported in 2009 that she has become a grandmother.
Wait, so they literally gave her witness protection?
Apparently, I don't know why.
What the hell?
Right. That makes so much sense.
Right?
Yes. That's a very weird case with a young kid as a murderer.
I wonder if that's why they were more lenient.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, she did kill people though, so I don't know.
I mean,
Andrea, she needs therapy. You should talk to her.
I'd be like, so
Hun,
about the murderers, the murders that you committed.
let's talk about that. What's going on there?
Why?
Right?
Tell me about those.
Let's talk about this.
What in your mind made you decide, you know what? That person needs to die.
I'm going to do some killing. That's what's going to happen.
I mean,
Yeah, like what mindset are you in, right? Like, of course, you came from not a great home, but still
how old was she again?
11.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, what leads to that point,
dude, at 11, I was just obsessed with Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys. Like,
Dude, I was drinking water from the hose.
right? Like, I was still in La La Land and I was gonna marry Nick Carter. Like,
Well, now you're going to marry Zac Efron, so it's all good.
hasn't changed much, has it?
Just the person's changed.
But I mean, it's amazing. Oh, if she has that big back, I'm not gonna get too psychological, but like,
Yeah.
I could see if you have to like a not as such a good like upbringing, even at 11, you might like not act 11.
Right.
But still, to murder is insane.
Yeah. And to act so nonchalant about it, like, yeah, it's fine. I did it. No big deal.
Yeah, like there's like no like registration of like, no, not good.
Which is weird. Like, it also makes you wonder, like, how'd you get to that point too? Like, how calm she was. Like, how do you get to that point where you can just do that and not really care?
Well, right. Because that, and I could totally be wrong here, but in my mind, you would think one, she's either been exposed to that so much that it's just she's desensitized. And she's just like, no big deal. Or two, she's just a sociopath and has no feelings,
Right. Yeah.
empathy, no like regret, no remorse.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
What is one of yours?
So this one is a popular one in England, but like
Ooh.
we've never heard of it.
Yeah.
So it is, well, they call him the Yorkshire Ripper.
Okay.
And so he was around in the, I think like they coined him the Yorkshire Ripper in like the 80s.
Okay.
1981. So he was found guilty of murdering 13 women
Cool.
and attempting to murder 7 others.
Ooh, fun.
And let me see. Just so I can make sure I'm looking up to make sure I'm getting the facts right.
Right.
Because my phone is like bugging out right now.
Come on, phone.
So he basically was kind of like Jack the Ripper, where he was, I guess you could say, like he targeted like prostitutes and like the red light district in Yorkshire.
Ooh. Interesting.
Yeah, so I guess he would actually use the services and then murder them.
Oh, because why not? You might as well get the full benefit, right?
You know. So it says he pled not guilty to murder and he diminished responsibility, but he was convicted of it.
Obviously.
Yeah, he was one of the largest and most expansive manhunts in British history. And the police were criticized for their failure to catch him, even though they interviewed him 9 times.
Wow.
And so I guess they had an investigation for 5 years. And over that 5 years, they interviewed him nine times.
Well, at that point, you're just not doing it right.
Right?
Like, come on, think of another tactic.
I know, like, I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like how I don't know. But then, so to kind of go back a little bit, he attacked 10 other women. His first documented assault was in like 1969.
Cool.
So I guess he went up to this female prostitute while he was looking for a different woman who had tricked him out of his money.
Cool.
And had left his friend's minivan, walked up to, I guess there's this road in Bradford, England. So he left when he was, and then he, like, no one had, I guess his friend couldn't see him anymore. And when he had come back, he was out of breath. And then he was told his friend to like drive off quickly. And then he said he had followed her into a garage and hit her over the head with a stone.
Well, obviously.
So, you know.
Yeah. It's just how it is sometimes.
It's just how we do.
Yeah. You haven't done that?
Huh?
You haven't done that all the time?
I can't say.
I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Okay, Mom.
Okay, Mom.
I'm not mad.
I'm just disappointed.
I hate when parents say that.
Right? Because now I feel guilty.
Right? But so his first attack was in, I think, the 70s. And
okay.
It said that this woman was a mother of 4, and he like struck her in the back of her head twice with a hammer.
That's the only way to do it.
And then did some other gruesome things, but you know.
Very cool.
We'll leave that for later.
Did they kill cats?
No.
I'm just disappointed now.
Clearly he's not up to par.
Clearly not.
But so then he he just continued to like assault and kill these women until the police investigated him. It doesn't say exactly how they found him, but then he died in prison like last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So recently.
Yeah. But they said he had so many similarities to Jack the Ripper, and that's why they coined him the Yorkshire Ripper, because Jack the Ripper like targeted prostitutes and would like bait them with like grapes and all, they think.
Strange.
Well, because back then grapes were considered wealthy food.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they were so, I don't know why, but they were so expensive back then. So like if anyone had grapes, it was like, oh my God.
Ooh, look at you. Right. Big spender.
Yeah, so these prostitutes were probably like, dude, he has grapes, lots of money.
Oh my gosh, dude, grapes.
It sounds so weird.
Right.
They're not sure. The only reason they can correlate with grapes is, I preface why I know all of this.
Right.
Is I went on a Jack the Ripper tour in London.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So they would find like the grape We call them like stems.
Okay. Yeah.
Next to the victim. And so they were just assuming that like that's how he kind of enticed them.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So
Well, very fine. Gotta
yeah.
entice him somehow. We can't just not.
Listen, we're not all like Ted Bundy and charming and don't just can use our wit and charm.
I mean, I kill cats all the time, you know. That's how I do.
Dave, do you need to talk to someone?
No, I'm okay. I am perfectly content.
I just kill cats. It's fine.
It's fine. I just did it. It's a fun time.
As when we got on this call, I heard a dog. So
Oh yeah. I'm moving to dogs next.
hey, no.
Hey. Oh, but cats is okay.
Yes. Cats is fine. Dogs, no.
Okay.
You cross the line.
Wait a minute. What about Chester the cheetah?
Of course you cannot kill Chester.
No, not allowed.
How dare you even
How dare I?
think that?
Oh, that's a crazy case, though.
Huh?
That's a crazy case, though.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like I listened to a whole podcast on it and it's kind of crazy because they were like it was a huge thing in England.
Yeah.
Like
Crazy.
the women were all scared, which
Yeah.
understandably.
Right.
So,
Fun.
you know?
Anyway,
Do you have another case?
I do. The old lady killer.
I think I've heard of this one.
Maybe. I haven't. Between 1998 and 2006, professional wrestler Juana Barraza murdered around 40 elderly women in Mexico. She flew under the radar for so long because no one suspected a woman to be the culprit. She pled guilty to one murder and denied the rest. When asked what her motive was, she simply replied, "I got angry."
Yeah.
Like you do. Barraza grew up in a poverty-stricken village near Mexico. Her defense lawyer claimed that her alcoholic mother gave her away to a man in exchange for 3 beers when Barraza was 12. The criminologist assigned to the case asserted that Barraza targeted older women because she identified them with her mother. And that's it.
So
She murdered around 48 of them. That's crazy. That's a lot.
does it say how? I forgot.
It doesn't say how.
Okay. Because hold on. I'm going to Google because I swear this might have been a different case, but there was one where like they were being, like she was poisoning them.
Yeah, it doesn't say, but I mean, she could have.
Isn't that's a crazy case, isn't it?
Right. And that's a lot of people too. 48 that's a big number. Like, how do you not get caught before that, right?
Isn't that like more than Ted Bundy?
I don't know. Sounds like it though.
I think, I don't know, like
I don't know.
and also just because she's angry.
Listen, we've all been there. We just don't do it, but you know.
I mean, I don't know.
Listen, you've never killed elderly women before?
I can't say I have.
Slacking. You were just slacking.
But also, I'm more curious as to why she killed elderly women. Like,
She said she identified them with her mother, her alcoholic mother, I guess.
oh, so someone has mommy issues.
Listen, there's therapy for that. You don't just go around killing people. Talk to Andrea. It's okay.
Oh my
It's
God.
okay. You're not elderly, so she's not going to kill you. So you're good. You're good.
She better not. She's dead, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Is she dead?
I don't know actually. Let me see.
Doesn't say it on my end, but she might be.
No, she is not actually.
Interesting.
Someone married her while she was in jail, though.
Oh, fun. That's weird that that's a thing, right?
Dude, I don't understand these people.
How romantic.
Right?
I mean, that's my dream spot to get married, in jail.
To a killer.
Mm-hmm. Like, what's the background check on that? Like, have you killed anybody? Well,
What I find more odd is that the jails allow this.
yeah, I guess that too. Like, how is that allowed?
Like the jails are like, sure, you're a serial killer, but go get married.
It's fine. It's a beautiful thing,
You can have a conjugal visit and everything. Like,
right?
why is that a thing?
Hey, hon, let's go back to my cell.
It's just so romantic.
Can hang out on my tiny little bed and watch TV that I don't have.
We also can't take a honeymoon, but it's okay.
Dude, we'll take a honeymoon in the yard. It'll be
There we go.
so romantic.
It's where everyone wants to spend their honeymoon.
I know I do.
I know. I know. I mean, who doesn't want that?
Clearly not this person.
But then they got divorced like 3 years later, it says.
Oh, who saw that coming?
I know. I'm shocked.
I was rooting for them.
You shipped them?
I did. Yeah. More than Merry and Pippin.
Wow.
Man, that's saying something.
Wow. Wow. You must have been devastated when they got a divorce.
I was. Should we check in on Merry and Pippin and see how they're doing? They're okay. It's okay.
Your whole world would shatter if they.
It would actually.
Well, listen, it's Pippin. I would be upset too.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Anyway, do you have another one?
I do. And I actually have a personal connection to this one.
Uh-oh. Is Andrea the killer?
No. I was not alive.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to be a killer?
That would liven up the podcast.
It would definitely make, it would make our podcast very popular.
Right. And I would be nervous all the time.
Don't you think, though, I would have already murdered you?
Maybe that's why I moved out to California, so I could be safe.
I knew it.
Did you?
I did.
Well,
I was
look at you.
He's just trying to get away from me.
Yeah. So anyway.
So I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called the Boston Strangler.
Sounds familiar, but maybe not.
So he was, he obviously strangled women.
You don't say.
I don't know, can't tell from the name.
Right.
But, and actually I don't know if all the 14 women were on the street, but like he killed, I think a couple women on the street where my grandma lived.
Okay. Interesting.
In Boston. So she said like people were really worried, and like my grandpa would tell her like, you don't open the door for anyone, because
Right.
he killed 14 or no 13. His name is, what's his name? I can't remember his name. But anyway, so he would I guess he would like dress up as like repairman or someone who to get into your house,
Yeah, like you do.
naturally, right?
Right.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? Come on. You say you never have?
You know, can't say I have.
What a shame.
But anyway, so he he killed between June 14th, 1962 to January 4th, 1964. And he killed women between the ages of 19 and 85.
So
So
it was variety.
variety. He
That's what's important.
he was
Don't
not ageist, okay?
don't just kill the 85, the elderly people.
He did not discriminate.
And I like that equality. That's
He
true equality.
listen, he was like, I believe everyone is the same
Yes.
to murder.
That's crazy that you have a connection.
Yeah. I remember my grandma was talking about it and she just said like whenever my grandpa would leave the house, he was always like, you don't answer the door. Just because I think my mom was like, well, if it was 1962, so she was one.
Really?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, and I mean, he would like sexually assault him and then strangle him,
Of course.
as you do.
Right. Naturally.
Yeah. And they found like, obviously, and I think that's how they knew he was dressing up as like repairmen because there wasn't like a forced entry into these girls' apartments. Like
Yeah, which
it was,
as messed up as it is, it's smart.
I mean, yeah, yeah. It's creative. It's a creative way to get inside. For
Right. Yeah.
sure. For sure.
It's like Dracula. I need permission to enter.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so it said like he would dress up as like a maintenance man, delivery man, or like
Yeah.
repairman.
Crazy.
There was a lot of like publicity about it, but like he just continued to do it, as they said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and a lot of people like where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I just saw it earlier, but I want to make sure I got it right. Um, yeah, so well, I can't find it. So anyway, but it was just, I mean, I would be scared. They said a lot of people got new locks, like bought tear gas, like just trying to be prepared.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting.
They found him.
Well, that's a good thing.
They found him, but it's
Wow.
kind of crazy because I had never heard of him. But my mom had a book about it, and I was like, because it said they didn't call it the Boston Strangler. They called it the Belmont Strangler.
Okay.
And I knew my mom was that's where she lived in Boston was Belmont.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
Right.
And then that's when my grandma was like, oh yeah, we live there. Like he killed on our street. And I was like, what?
What? You don't say. When did you find out about that?
When?
Yeah.
Um, it was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was I was like, excuse me?
Excuse me?
I can't keep serial killer connections
Yeah, right.
from me.
Andrew,
How
you should
dare
keep it up, those murders. Keep the legacy going.
My family wasn't the murderers.
Oh, wow. Still, you should pick it up. It'd be fun.
My grandpa wasn't going around dressing as repairman, murdering people, women,
Or what was he doing? I mean, come on.
going to work.
Not as a killer, obviously.
I know. How dare he be a responsible adult?
How dare he?
Boring. But yeah.
All right.
Do you have another one?
Yeah, I could do one more. So it's the murder of Angela Samota. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
I haven't.
Okay. So Texas college student Angela Samota was raped and stabbed to death in her apartment in 1984. Her case went cold until her friend and roommate Sheila Wysocki decided that was unacceptable, obviously. While watching the O.J. Simpson trial a decade after Samota's death, talk of using DNA samples caught her attention. Knowing there was blood and semen collected from the Samota crime scene, Wysocki called police incessantly, asking them to take another look at her friend's case. She got nowhere and decided to get her private investigator license so she could gain access to the samples herself, which is smart. In
For
2006,
real.
in 2006, Wysocki finally convinced police to reopen the case. It took 2 years to process the DNA, but in the end, it matched with Donald Bass, a convicted rapist who was found guilty and sentenced to death. Wysocki is still working as a private investigator, which is cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So she was like, listen, you guys aren't doing it. I'm just going to do it myself.
I like that. Taking charge.
Right.
She's like,
Yeah, it was her friend and roommate that was raped and killed, which that would be crazy.
it's a way to turn tragedy into like finding meaning into it.
Right. It's
You know what I
crazy.
mean?
It's crazy that it happened so far after, though. Like,
Yeah, like,
she was like, yeah, it's fine for now. Wait a minute.
right. Like, I was thinking that. I was like, I wonder what kind of like spurred all of a sudden for her to be like, you know what?
Yeah,
Hell no.
I get that there was probably a period of shock, but I mean, it went on for a while, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it could have been she was probably just waiting for the to see what the police would do.
Yeah,
And that frustration just probably built over time until finally she's like, you know what?
that's not cool.
Done. Taking it in my own hands.
That was her roommate, too. Imagine coming home and finding out that your roommate was raped and stabbed to death.
No, 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 no.
Like, that's a shocking thing to come home to,
That's traumatic in itself,
especially as a college student. It's crazy.
right?
Yeah,
I mm-mm.
just like, ooh, that could have been me.
Seriously though,
Crazy.
that is so. This
Crazy.
is where PTSD is formed.
Not for
Literally.
this girl, apparently. She became a private investigator to get it solved.
It's probably how she handled it.
Yeah, props.
I mean, it's the best way to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. For sure. That's a very good, it's an interesting case.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of like a motivating one too.
Right, yeah. So if your friend and roommate is killed, just handle it yourself, you know?
This is what you do. Just take it into your own hands.
Hey, it's the best way to do it.
Obviously.
And do you have one more?
Yeah, I do. So
Cool.
this is the case of it's Marcus Wesson. I
Ooh,
think
all right.
that's how you pronounce his last name. So he committed the worst mass murder in Fresno, California.
Fun.
Yes. So the incident like occurred after several family members showed up to his house demanding the return of their children. The police were called to kind of mediate the child custody issue, but then they were part of a standoff.
Oh, of course.
Naturally, right? So the police claim they didn't hear the gunshots that had killed the 9 people inside. of the home. So he basically killed his children. And in some cases, it says they were children he had fathered with his own daughters and nieces.
Ooh, that's weird.
A little incest.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do.
But each had been shot through the eye,
Oh, that's weird.
which is interesting and a very precise
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty precise.
target.
I wonder why the eye though. Like, I don't know if anything else.
Yeah, like like if
Not the
they're
heart,
yeah, like it had to be symbolic.
apparently. Hey, gotta get yourself known somehow.
Could just be, yeah. I don't know.
Ah,
But they also found inside the house like antique, I guess it said like a selection of antique caskets.
interesting.
And I guess he had instructed his children to be prepared to die in the event that the authorities tried to separate them. So I guess he had some intense religious beliefs and had developed a cult within the family, and they called it the vampire. It says the vampire aspects of the cult came out later. So he presented in defense that he committed the murders, that his daughter, I'm sorry, had committed the murders and then shot herself. Her DNA was found on the gun, but the argument was made that he had persuaded her to kill the children. So ultimately, he was convicted of the 9 counts of first-degree murder, and an assortment of sex crimes, probably because of the incest.
Probably.
He was sentenced to death in 2005.
Naturally.
As he should be.
Right.
There's so many questions about this case that I have.
Yeah, it's a weird one for sure.
Which is why I wanted to bring it up. I want to know more about the vampire aspects of the case.
Right.
Like,
it's a whole roller coaster of emotions there.
there's so many twists and turns.
Right.
Like when I first read it earlier today, I was like, hold on. Whoa.
Hold up.
There was murders, and now there's incest, and now there's vampires. Like,
right.
And cults. Like, what is going on?
Right.
What is going on?
It's a lot of stuff to handle.
It makes you realize people are nuts.
Was it Chester the cheetah? Was it his fault? I think it was.
You know what? It was Chester the cheetah who convinced him to shoot everyone in the eye.
That's what it is. We just solved the case. We have ourselves a cheetah to catch.
I just can't believe he would do this.
We need to incorporate that into the movie we're making. Like a side story.
Now he's a serial killer?
Apparently. Amongst many other things.
Yeah. I've never heard of an action hero serial killer.
Right? Well, now you have. It's a side job. It's a side job.
When he's not out saving the world,
right.
Then he goes and murders.
Right.
When he's not being a superhero, he's murdering.
Who would suspect that, though?
I mean, that is a genius cover.
Right.
Not gonna lie, who would suspect that?
Not me, that's for sure.
As you're writing, you're like, what?
Yeah.
I've never seen that coming.
No. We don't find out about it until the very end.
Ooh, plot twist.
Right.
I like it.
That's what's going to happen.
Gotta keep people on the edge of their seat, man.
You have to. How else are you going to make it exciting? I mean, come on.
Well, you know, it keeps them coming back.
Right. Of course.
Wanting more.
Exactly.
You have to.
You just have to. You have to.
You do. You do.
Yeah.
Do you have a case that like, is there something, well, are you into true crime?
Yeah, I love it. It's cool.
Is there one that like got you into it?
I just kind of slowly got into it over the years. The big one is the one we talked about last time, the one where the guy kills cats.
Yeah.
That's just an insane one for me. Probably one of the most insane that I've heard of, just because, like, first of all, you're killing cats. Like, that's messed up in itself.
Mm-hmm.
You move up to a person and then flee and you get caught in Europe. It's just it's a crazy story.
Oh, it is. It is.
Like, first of all, how dare you kill cats? Okay.
Kidding.
Go watch the videos then. See how you feel then.
Listen, I don't like cats, but I'm also not like, go murder them.
I wonder if the videos are still out there. I'm sure there's a way to find them, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure the dark web still has it somewhere.
It's not like they're up on YouTube, you know?
You know,
I would hope not, at least.
I would hope not.
Of you slaughtering a human being and cats.
Well, I think that to me is like the most baffling thing about the whole case was that he wasn't trying to hide it. He's like, I'm gonna video it for everyone.
Right.
Here
And
you go.
speaking of that, like, how are you not caught that much quicker that you're filming it, right?
Exactly.
Like, how are you not caught immediately?
Exactly. Like that's, I mean, the whole thing is crazy, but then you add on that and it's like, what?
Right. Just
Like,
putting it online for everyone to watch, even police, and I don't know.
what?
Well, and what I had heard, I think I mentioned this last time too, is I guess police and investigators didn't really give it the credit it deserved when it was just cats. I don't know why, but they just didn't care as much about it. But
Interesting.
and all these people are like, listen, if this continues, it's going to get worse. And obviously it did. He killed a human being, and now they're finally like, oh, okay, we'll look into it.
The
Like,
animals, whatever.
yeah, like how is that okay?
Right?
Yeah. How about you? What got you into it? True crime?
Um, honestly, my AP Psych teacher, I don't want to say he had a fascination because I don't think it was a fascination, but I think he was psychologically like interested in Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so he would talk about it, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
He would put people in his freezer?
I mean, don't you?
Occasionally.
Yeah. Occasionally.
You know. Because that was the first time I'd ever heard of someone doing that. Like,
Yeah.
I was also in high school. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But not a lot of people do that.
Right. Wait, they don't? That's not a common thing?
It's not. No.
Wow. I gotta take care of some things then.
You better go clear out your freezer.
Yeah. Oof.
Well, and I think the crazy part about that case to me was that literally the police, I think we talked about this before too, that like the police were in his apartment.
Yeah.
All they had to do was open up the freezer and they would have saw it. Like,
Well, that'd be too obvious, apparently.
well, and also like there's no logical reason for them to be like, "Ooh, let me look in the freezer." Like,
Yeah. You would think they would check everything, though.
yeah, but like they also like the thing that baffles me more about them, like I wouldn't have expected the police to check the freezer, but what baffles me more about like that the police were just like believed him like
Yeah,
that was his boyfriend, and he was just high, like didn't know what he was talking about, and said
right.
they should have been like, well, we'll take him down to the station and wait for him to sober up and then bring him back.
Yeah,
Instead of being like, here, go with this guy who claims he's your boyfriend
right.
and we'll bring him up to the apartment. Like,
Yeah,
that's kind of what baffles me more than them being like, because why else would they be like, let me open up the freezer?
right.
There's no reason.
No, no, it's crazy.
It is loud in my house. I am sorry.
I think there's a murder happening.
Oh, jeez.
Should you check? You should check your freezer.
I'll go check it right now.
Good.
I'll go see if there's any humans in it.
Should I check my freezer? I don't know. There might be something in there. I don't know.
Do you do these things and not remember?
Yeah, apparently.
You just black out when you murder people?
And then I put it up on YouTube.
You're going that route, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Not saying old school.
No, no, of course not.
But that's kind of what got me into it. And then it's just interesting in general.
It is, for sure.
Like, also Criminal Minds got me into it a lot too.
Did it? Yeah.
It also made me want to be like a behavioral analysis. And then I was like, but I would be the person in the car that's like, all right, I led you to him. I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
You go get him.
Yeah.
I don't want to be near him. Go.
Right. Yeah, I got into Criminal Minds a little bit, but I don't know, halfway through the show just kind of phased out for me. I don't know why, because I liked it, but yeah, I don't know.
I can understand that though. Like, it does become very, I don't know if formatted is the right word, but like,
yeah.
They kind of use like, there's always the same premise. There's a murder.
Yeah.
They solve it.
Right. Have you ever seen Bones?
I haven't.
I managed to get through the entire series of that, and I liked it a lot. It's kind of similar stuff.
Is it? What is it about?
So there's a main two people, and they eventually become a couple. Spoilers, sorry, but
how dare you?
How dare I? But the woman, I don't know what the term is that she is, but like she deals with dead bodies after they're already dead, and kind of examining them to find out how the person died. And the
So she's not a mortician, right?
No, it's like kind of more of a scientific thing. And she has a team that she works with. And the guy is an FBI agent, and he, I guess, tries to like obviously catch people before they commit murders or whatever they do. And they kind of work together to discover things and find out how people died and and they try to catch people who aren't going down that path.
So is it always a murder, or is it?
Not always. Different situations. Whether it's like, well, anything that the FBI would get involved in, basically, like abuse or kidnappings or whatever it may be. So I really liked it, and they made 12 seasons of it, I think, 11 or 12. So it's nice and long, and I liked it. So
I'll have to put it on my list. It sounds good.
yeah, I really like it. I like the cast as well. They all work well together.
Yeah.
For sure.
That was one thing about Criminal Minds is there's I don't know, how many seasons did you watch?
I want to say like around 6
Okay.
or 7.
So you'll know what I'm talking about. So like there's a couple of the like key, I don't know if key is the right word, but I'll just use it. Like key members of like the group that they like then they switch. So you get used to a group dynamic and then they like
Yeah.
take one person out, bring another person in, and it's like a totally different group dynamic. Like
Yeah.
it made like that was one part of the show I didn't like.
Who was the lead guy? Like,
Gideon?
no, like the head of the whatever,
Wasn't it Gideon?
maybe.
Well, I think his name's Mandy. He was in there was Hotchner,
Maybe, I don't know.
and there was also I don't really know who's the lead, Rossi.
Rossi, yeah.
Rossi. So Rossi replaced Gideon.
Okay. I liked Gideon. That's who it was. I really liked Gideon. I was upset when he was not there. Because he wasn't even on there for very long, was he? Like 1 or 2 seasons.
2 seasons.
Yeah, which for me, that was the toughest loss. I really liked him.
Yeah. He left though because he couldn't take being on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
I guess he said like it was really hard because it got to him because they were doing a lot of night shoots. So then I think he just said it was like so depressing and so like it just revved up his anxiety.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, he's like, I can't do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which was like sucks because he was great on that show.
Right. He was probably one of my favorites.
And then it was weird because was it the last season or the season before that? I don't know. It was somewhere like years after he had left, right?
Right.
Like, and he left, like we said, in like the second season, the end of the second season, maybe.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he like, I think 10 seasons later, more, they kill him off.
That's crazy.
I was like, there's no reason for that. Just leave him.
Exactly.
Leave him be.
That's fine. Just let him be. Don't have to do anything.
Was Gideon your favorite?
Probably. Yeah.
Nice. That's probably why you stopped watching too.
For sure.
Reed was my favorite.
Was he? Yeah, he was cool too.
I loved Reed.
Got that intelligent sass.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
He was always funny because of how awkward he was.
Oh yeah, he was great.
They like made him less awkward though as the show went on.
Yeah. For sure, for sure.
Stupid. I liked awkward Reed.
Right.
But and they did do stuff like, did you see when Hotchner's wife died?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was intense.
Yeah, they did stuff like that to kind of keep readers engaged.
Yeah, yeah.
Or not readers, watchers engaged, but
Right.
like, I don't know. It did get kind of repetitive. I mean, I watched everything.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
you'll have to watch Bones. That sounds good though.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds like it's a better CSI.
Yeah, kind of. I don't really know what drew me into it, but yeah, I don't know. Good cast, good storyline. So
Yeah. Did you ever watch Dexter?
yeah, I watched it the first few episodes. I just, for me, I don't know, couldn't get into it because it seems really good, but I don't know. I might have to give it a second try.
Yeah, because it seems like it'll be.
Have you seen
It
it?
doesn't. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I've heard it's good, and it sounds like something that's right up, like something I would really like.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but I don't know. I may try and watch it too.
Alrighty then. For sure.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anything else about true crime?
I guess not. Nothing on my end.
Nothing on my end either.
Well, I guess that's about it for the podcast.
I think we're done.
Yeah. So hopefully everyone enjoyed our ranting. But yeah, hope everyone has a good week, and we will see
Yeah.
y'all. We will see y'all soon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bye.
Bye.